Well, here we have the James Ritchie clock now fully repaired and serviced. As you may remember from my last video, James Ritchie was one of Scotland's finest clockmakers. He was known for the town clocks, including the Balmoral Hotel railway clock and the Nelson Monument time ball, which used to flag the 1 o'clock time to the ships in the Leith Harbour. So James Ritchie would often take a well-known movement, in this case a French movement, and put it into one of his own clocks and do a little bit extra to it to make it a very good timekeeper. In this instance, he may well have added the Mercury pendulum to give accurate timekeeping throughout the warm and cold portions of the year in Scotland. Now, this particular clock was handed down through the James Ritchie family to the great-great-granddaughter of James Ritchie, who had asked me to repair this clock. The clock itself was made in 1900, and it worked its way through the family to the great-great-granddaughter. Now, as it happened, this clock just needed a very good clean. It had stopped working, or it didn't work for very long, so I took the thing apart and cleaned it and put it back together again. I did take some video of it, but really not very exciting to look at, just cleaning a clock. So here it is back together and working nicely. But what I did want to point out was the fact this is a timepiece. It has a going train for the timekeeping. It also has a striking mechanism as well. When you're putting the wheels back together into the movement, there is a phase relationship that has to be in place for the striking mechanism to work properly. And if you put it together any old how, you're going to get all sorts of problems where the time's not going to be striking at the right time, or it doesn't get strike the right number of times, and it's a real kerfuddle unless you know what you're doing. And what I wanted to show you here was what you can do. I have here another French movement, this one with a count wheel mechanism for the striking mechanism, but the striking action is the same whether it's a count wheel mechanism, or in this case this is rack and pinion timekeeping. But I can show you the setup for this one, and as I said, there is several gears in here which have to be phased correctly. You have the main spring here for the striking side, and then there's an intermediate wheel which then drives this pinwheel. The pinwheel has a circle of pins underneath it, and that is what the strike hammer hits and makes the strike. And next along the line, next to the pinwheel, is the stop wheel. So the idea is, can I show you here? This count wheel is now moving forward, and when the latch here goes into the next groove, that's the number of counts that it's doing there, stop wheel stops the mechanism. So that has to happen at the right time. You don't want it stopping when it's still counting. And then next to the stop wheel there is a warning wheel. So we have count wheel, cant wheel on the top here. So if the cant wheel on the top here, the pinwheel here, the stop wheel there, and then we have the warning wheel here, just before the fly. The fly governs the speed of the strike, but the warning wheel also has to be in the right place so that the mechanism is set up ready for the next striking action. So how do you set that up accurately? Well, in this case, these French clocks did have the manufacturers did put little markers on them to help with that. The count wheel, the one on the top here, which I'll just take off here. On the underside, it's on a square drive post there, and on the underside you'll find a little scratch mark on one of the sides here, and also on the drive shaft there is a small mark on one of the sides. And so the idea is you can get the two marks lined up to put that on, and then let's just put that on. And then you know that the spacing for these markers is right in line. So that is the count wheel lined up with the stop wheel. So that's how you make sure that that is set up right. So the next thing is that the stop wheel is lined up with the pinwheel. And on that one, now it's probably not going to be easy to see, but I'll try and point it out anyway. In fact, there we are. On this count wheel, so on this pinwheel, you'll see there's a little dot. Can you see that? I don't know. There's a little dot there, and that has got to lined up with the arbor of the stop wheel. And on the arbor, the stop wheel, on one of the teeth here, you'll find that one of them has been filed off at an angle, so that you can line up that pin with that to make sure that's in time with the stop wheel. So that's how you do that. Now, I think that could be quite awkward to do when you're putting it together, but to help out, on the top of the movement here, just take this off for a second. So you can take this pivot block off here, and then you can move this pinwheel round so that the dot on the face of the wheel there lines up with the mark on the stop wheel arbor. So that's getting the relationship. Now we've got the relationship between the count wheel and the stop wheel. No, sorry. So now we've got the relationship between the count wheel and the pinwheel sorted out through the marks on the top here. And then we've now got the relationship between the pinwheel and the stop wheel through the little marks on there and on the arbor. And then all that's left then is that the warning wheel needs to be such that when that mechanism starts, that the pin on the warning wheel has time to go around to set things up. If it's too long, then the mechanism sets itself up incorrectly and it won't work. Now that one, unfortunately, is a bit more awkward. You have to sort of lift the plates open to move the pinwheel around. So not so good, but bit of trial and error on that one, but But that's how you then get the mechanism right. So when you've done that, you'll find that everything will work properly. So once you've got all that set up, you can then put the cant wheel back on, and then you can just try it through all the various positions from 1 to 12 o'clock to make sure that it's all working all right before you put the movement back into the case. So I hope that was of some use to you. This was for the cant wheel version of the mechanism, but as in this one, there is a rack and snail striking mechanism, which again has marks on the rack and snail to help you. But the striking mechanism, which we've just explained earlier, is the same on both. So you'll find this a pretty useful thing to bear in mind when you take one of these apart. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Bye for now.